These are delicious.
The key is going when the hot and ready sign is on.
Oh, hey, you may be wondering why we're eating these delicious donuts.
There were 4 0-0 draws this weekend in MLS, and we're nothing if not on brand here at 110 Football.
Okay, and Castellanos dropped a ham bone. Austin scored 3 in the last 10 minutes to beat DC United, and Miami won its second game in a row
Since the Nixon administration.
Max, I told you, no one who watches the show knows what that is.
My bad, I can't help myself. This is the Expansion Mansion.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the Expansion Mansion. We have a lot to talk about despite so many goalless draws. Here to help me get some shots on target are Mariano, Trujillo. Welcome. How are you?
I can do that, Connor.
Max? He was never that close to goal in his playing days.
No?
So we have to cross
We'll have to bring some videos.
Welcome, Max Bretos.
We were talking to Mariano. We found some of the scoreless games quite entertaining, actually.
Yep. Yeah.
I am Connor Kalopsis, and I am a natural goal scorer. So
cross the ball to him.
There you go.
Before we get going, don't forget to subscribe, and if you haven't already, click that like button. I will be personally offended if you don't, so, don't make me sad. I like being happy.
Don't make him sad. Enough of this housekeeping. Let's get into the storylines that dominated this weekend in #trending.
#trending.
That's a good old chop right there. Let's start in Silicon Valley, where it is official that, the worst kept secret really, that the San Jose Earthquakes and Matías Almeyda are parting ways. The Earthquakes tweeting about it earlier today, ending 3.5 years for Almeyda in charge. He did make the playoff 1 year. He did make the quarterfinals of MLS's back, so there's something. The Earthquakes have parted ways with head coach Matías Almeyda. We want to thank Matías and his staff for 3+ memorable years at the club, and with them, wish them all the wishes in the future. Won't see the purple sweater anymore?
Is this really surprising, though?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Which I think the question is, why did it happen sooner?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why didn't it happen at the end of last season? It seemed like this was untenable, and it was in a situation we were going to hit to this point.
Well, we always in soccer ask for time for coaches, for projects to develop. And I think San Jose was thinking that with Matías Almeyda. They thought that Matías Almeyda, the DP coach, if we can call it like that, will change players and the team culture and the perspective and the goals of the San Jose team. And they actually brought players that knew the system that he was trying to implement within the team, but it didn't work. So to me, it's not a surprise, and actually it's a surprise that it didn't happen early in the season or last year.
It's the system was always very complicated, and we talked about how exhausting it was. So you need a certain type of player. I also was very excited when Almeyda came here, high-profile manager coming from Chivas in Mexico, where he won a title, but more so from his playing career, where he was, legendary figure in Argentina. Yep. But the San Jose Earthquakes to me, is still a great job. You're in the middle of Silicon Valley, close proximity not only San Jose, but San Francisco and Oakland. It is a marketplace that Major League Soccer has to have. They got to get this thing right.
It's right by the airport, too.
Right by Manila Airport. I know it well.
Yeah, I just really hope for San Jose's sake that Matías Almeyda was the problem. But I can't help but have a hunch that it might be deeper than that. Look, on paper, they're not a deep squad, but they have good bones, some MLS experience bones. But I don't know. Maybe it goes all the way up to the ownership. Maybe we don't want to get into that.
It was a strange set of circumstances. Jesse Fiorello, and then some odd moves that were being made in and around, including Matías Almeyda. It's just, this is a club with a great history. This was a weird episode, but the talent's there. I mean, we see it's not deep, but there's some good players.
The fine talent. Because if you want to compete and win, maybe you're lacking some players, some quality players. I'm not saying that the players that are playing right now have no quality, but I think if your goal is to compete and be a challenger for MLS Cup, this is not the team you want. You can be a playoff team, maybe, just right there at the bottom, but I think they need more players and better players. That's what I believe. Yeah,
like I said, they have decent players, and I can see them being a playoff contender if they turn things around. But like I said, on a positive note, I hope that this parting ways with Almeyda turns the ship around for San Jose.
Hopefully.
Soccer USA, San Jose should rebrand. I don't know about that. Chris Leach has said, and he's the general manager, former MLS defender. Chris Leach has said that they are going to be looking for a new coach with MLS experience, which
Who's there?
is benefit. I was joking. I said Chris Armas. He's not going to be at Manchester United, but it's not going to be Chris Armas. Dominic Kinnear. Why not?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's got some San Jose. I just popped in my head. So the San Jose Earthquakes draw with Nashville. They're still winless in 2022. I don't think we were surprised about the Matías Almeyda news, but I'll say this about the Earthquakes. Their last 3 games, they've scored goals.
Yep.
They've been competitive, although they only got 2 points out of a possible 9, but it wasn't far-fetched that they could have got 7 or 9 out of this.
I can't help but think that this wasn't the tipping point for the Almeyda parting ways. This was definitely a move that was planned a little bit ahead, and you're right. They have been playing.
They didn't quit on him. They clearly did not quit on him in this final stretch. And the players, when they talk about him, we're still talking about Almeyda, the players, when they talk about him, speak very glowingly of Almeyda.
You know, I think that's one of Matías' biggest skills. He connects very well with the player, and you can see that when San Jose was playing on the field. Yesterday was a great example. They were losing, they came back, they scored goals, they fought, and yes, but that's not enough to get the results. And I think in the end, you play the game to get the results, and if you're not getting those results, even if you compete in a good way, which is the case with San Jose, you're at the bottom of the standings, and that's the reality for San Jose.
Yeah.
So I think Nashville did a great job in that game. Mukhtar is amazing. I really like the German player, but you know, tying with San Jose and all the circumstances around that team, I think it's a little bittersweet for them.
And props to Nashville. They've played all their games so far on the road, which is very difficult. A lot of
their new
expansion
stadium.
teams have to do that. Now with their new stadium, which very beautiful stadium. All the photos and all the videos that I've seen, I like that there's investment in the sport.
Yep.
It's going to be tough for Nashville, even with the new stadium, because now in the Western Conference, it's going to be a long trip. It's not going to be. You're not going to play. They're going to have the rivalry games against Atlanta and Charlotte, but generally it's going to be LA.
Now let's
San
think
Jose,
on a map.
Seattle.
Is Nashville farther west than Chicago?
No.
No.
Don't hold me to that. I don't think so.
No.
Tennessee's tucked in.
It is, but they're
Right there in the Smoky Mountains.
It's gonna suck for them.
Yeah, it's gonna suck.
All right.
One of the most anticipated games of this weekend, I will say, I think was Chicago Fire versus LA Galaxy. I was expecting it was Shaqiri versus Chicharito, 30,000 fans at Soldier Field. No shots on target, 0-0 draw.
No Shaqiri.
No Shaqiri. Not to paint a back picture of the game, because I think it was still very entertaining. 2 disallowed goals.
Yes.
What did we make of that? Right?
It was. What we make about it is this is the Chicago Fire. They're better than they were last season, but they're not here to entertain you. They're not here to score a ton of goals. They're here to grind. I'm fine with it because you need to find success, and this is a club with a new owner that wants to make a big splash. They already did with Shaqiri. And they have this young goalkeeper who's phenomenal, Gaga Slonina, but there were 2 goals. They were both disallowed by the Galaxy for offside. He didn't make a save on either one of them. So he never was tested. He doesn't get tested that much. I would like to see him in a bigger sample size.
So do you think, I ask both of you think Chicago is doing the right thing of, let's just stabilize this thing. We want to defend well. We don't want to concede goals because they have conceded only 2 goals. They have scored 5. Which is
7 games.
7 games, which is not a great number.
And get this stat.
How many scoreless?
3 shots on target in the past 3 games.
That's not good.
So we don't care about
You've
scoring
played 3
goals.
90-plus minute games and have had 3 shots on target,
That's
none of which have gone in.
They're not going to draw fans, even though they got 30,000. And I will say this has got to be the Chicharito effect, right? Because they drew about half of that at Soldier Field, and now they got 30,000.
Shaqiri enough?
Yeah. Have Gaston Jimenez, who had a nice game, but no, they need something.
What do you think, Mariano?
No, I think Shaqiri will boost their offensive side quite enough to create more opportunities to score some goals. If you have that stability on defense, then you can think on scoring 1 or 2. They want to win games. They're not in business to score 5 or 6. We want to win 1-0 and that's it. We're good. We're on the other side. I'm not disappointed, but I was expecting a little bit more from Galaxy. I understand they are trying to put something together. I think Greg Banny is finding the best starting 11. They continue with what they did against LAFC. They got a point on the road. They were probably the most offensive side, but I was expecting a little bit more from Galaxy. Being Galaxy and facing a team against Chicago that was defending and organized, I don't know.
Chicago needs Danny Masofsky. Maybe he's the answer. Well, they got to look for someone who could score. But I agree with the Galaxy. Overall, I've been impressed with what they've done. They're at the top of the Western Conference behind LAFC and Austin, and they haven't really played that well. They're going to get better.
I feel like
Douglas
that
Costa
could
is going to
be-
get more games.
That could be a realistic move, right?
Danny Masofsky?
Domestically, I
Why
don't know.
not? Why not?
Why not?
Center forwards are hard to come by.
Get some good, get some good gam.
Get a little gam, a little
I think
tan.
we're-
Gam and damn.
I think we were expecting a lot from this game, and
Get a good roster spot.
Don't ever say get some good gam.
probably we weren't expecting much about Austin FC and DC United, but it was an amazing game. I really
Not
liked
scoreless.
it. Not scoreless, of course, and exciting and thrilling because the goals came in the final minutes. My boy Diego Fagundes was flying red hot. So what do you guys think about this game?
3 goals in 10 minutes.
Whew.
They did that in 10 minutes. Chicago hasn't scored a goal in like
I know.
200. Props to Austin. This one's a weird one. From a DC United perspective, Ola Kamara gets a yellow card in the first half after he scores, takes off his shirt, has a little message, which I believe was for his grandma. Fine, say whatever you want, but that's a yellow card in the rule book. Then he gets a second yellow in the second half. Changes the landscape of the game.
Are we in agreement that they should change that rule?
They should change the rule.
We got to get people talking about it. Otherwise, they're not going to
please.
change it.
It's the dumbest rule. Tati Castellanos scored his first goal. He didn't take the shirt off all the way, but he had a message under it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yellow. It's just this is all it takes for a yellow.
You
but
see a lot of cynical play. You're right. It's got to be all the way off.
Yeah.
Bruno Guimaraes took his shirt off at the end of the game in the Newcastle game, and I think he was going to take his shorts off. It was very, but he did at the end of the game. That's where you want to do it.
Family
right?
show, Max.
Okay, I'm just saying what I saw this weekend. It looked like he was going.
No, I think you're watching MLS After Dark.
But there's some cynical fouls out there.
Yeah, I
that
agree.
You get
I
the
agree.
same punishment as taking your shirt off. Should you take your shirt off? No, but let the guys express themselves.
But credit where credit is due. Austin being able to score 3 goals in 10 minutes to get a pretty difficult 3 points on the road.
Yep.
They're having a great season. Reminds me a lot of LAFC's 2019 season where, that first inaugural season, it's a little weird. You're testing the waters. Okay, you put the system in place, and now they're really here to execute what they've kind of put forth, and they're doing good.
I like that they're creating an identity, not only with the team, but with the stadium, the fans, the city. If we remember last season, when they were losing, the game was over. If they were on the road losing the game, there's no chance that they were come back from that defeat. This game showed and proved that they're advancing and they're improving because, like I said, Fagundes, Urruti, Driussi, and all those players, they believe in themselves, they believe in Wolf, and that actually Wolf was saying, this game might be a good example of where we want the team to be, which is we are capable and it is possible to do good things. I really like what Austin is doing right now. It's kind of early, they're in a good place.
But you've had enough games. It's not like 3 or 4 games. This is enough games where they've scored goals and gotten results.
But
road wins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think this is an example of, as MLS over the years keeps expanding, these are new expansion teams learning from the best traits of other successful expansion teams.
Which is to bring in MLS campaigners into your squad.
And building that identity and that culture and having the infrastructure and the fan base. So I went down to Austin earlier last month, and I got to tour their amazing performance center, which I say maybe is a little bit better than LAFC's. And I didn't even go to a game, but going there, meeting the players, meeting Claudio Reyna, like that culture is there, and you could tell there's a strong group of guys, regardless of level of play. It's bigger. It's definitely not what San Jose has.
Yeah, everything about them.
I think that's a great example. You can see San Jose here, like with no north. And then you see Austin's like, this is the way we want to go. And it might take time, but we're going into that direction. And a game like yesterday, it's a proof of that.
Their jerseys, their crest, they're all going.
Everything.
It's all nice. And when they went to bed Saturday night, they were first place in the West.
Yep.
LAFC would pass them. That's incredible.
I know.
For where they came from last season. And to me, you mentioned all those players, and Alex Ring is key.
Yes.
Fagundes is the one who always, he seems like their MVP. Even though Driussi's the DP, Fagundes is the guy that stirs the drink, straw.
Another very fun game that happened this weekend. Toronto FC, one of the worst teams in the league, right?
Not now.
So far, up until this point. Look, Philadelphia unbeaten until the boys in red come attack them at.
It's a good team to
Field.
beat, Philadelphia. They were the best. They're still the best team in the league's co-on points with LAFC.
This is a weird one for me because look, it's
Why?
It's Bob Bradley. It's a group of very young guys, some of which who are not even experienced within MLS prior, getting starts, getting minutes, and also getting results. How's that happening?
There's a little jingle about Bob Bradley
What
that
is it?
applies here. It goes, Bob the Builder. He can do it. Bob the Builder.
Yes, we can.
Yes! Yes! Yes, he can.
Yes, he can.
Can he?
And then at the classic, no, yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
We
Okay.
can.
Take a
Look,
look.
I think it was a great game for Toronto, but honestly, I think if Philadelphia was a little bit sharper, that should have been their game.
Yeah.
They disallowed one of their goals. They went ahead right away. I think Jimmy Curtin's team it's playing very good. But props to Toronto because they found their way to go back and fight with young players and also with Pozuelo, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's an amazing player, talented player, and he creates goals and assists out of the blue.
As well as Jimenez.
Yeah.
I liked his goal. Jesus Jimenez's was good. And like you said, they're playing with a lot of kids. They had that 4-1 defeat
Yeah.
to the Red Bulls. You figured right at that
First game of the
point.
season.
I think it was the second. But
Second?
I think they had a 1-1.
Oh yeah, they had against Dallas.
You have a photographic memory for results. I can see it. But it looked like it was going to be a long season. And what they've been able to do when they're still waiting for the most expensive transfer in the history of the league, and Lorenzo Insigne.
Lorenzo.
And usually with one, when he was going to come, and you said that Red Bulls result, he's going to come to this. He's not going to be happy.
No.
He goes, I can't be playing with this
He'll be happy.
inexperience.
Trust me.
He's not going to be happy. But now he's going to come. He's going to be raking in the money, and he's going to be a historically competitive team.
And Mariano, you said this is definitely a game Philadelphia should have won.
Yep.
They were sharper, they could have won it, and they should have won it. That being said, this is why we call it the beautiful game. Because anything can happen.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it shows some character for these young guys in Toronto. You know, you have, I said, a full slate of guys who are able to not just get new minutes, start games, and also grind out results. It may not be pretty, but hey, 2-1 against Philadelphia, I'll take that any day.
And they're up to fifth in the East, so doing very well.
All right.
Up the Reds. Come on, you Reds.
You guys convinced me about Bob the Builder.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Another interesting game coming out of a CCL weekend. Miami against Seattle.
Seattle.
Opposite corners of the country.
So
Yep.
this was it was a Seattle B team. Well, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
But they brought in their heavy hitters. In
They
the
did.
second
They
half.
did bring them in, but again, they started out off slow. This is a Miami team who we believed was a contender for wooden spoon earlier on, and now they make it 2 wins in a row against one very good Seattle Sounders.
Who is the contender for the wooden spoon right now? Is it San Jose?
Yeah,
It's definitely
definitely.
They have 3 points.
But it's not Cincinnati
70.
right now. They are. It's not Charlotte, which we talked about, and
Nope,
maybe not.
it's San Jose. Did we even talk about San Jose? Come on, Max.
Doing that Steve Carell from The Office.
Credit to Miami, good goal, and then granted out a result. But
Listen.
I'm just saying, is it a coincidence that the team who is out of the Champions League now won 6-0 this weekend, and the team that's still in it to win it?
I'm giving Inter
lost?
Miami a lot of credit because they have struggled at everything. They were getting pasted. They lost to Austin 5-1 earlier in the season. It looked bleak, and you wonder how much more time does Phil Neville have. I was actually in Miami a couple weeks, and I ran into David Beckham. This is a true story at Enriqueta's in
Yeah.
Wynwood, and I said hello. And since then, they've won 2 straight. So I'm just saying.
wow.
There's a photo on my Instagram.
The Bretos
I put it-
Factor.
The Bretos Factor. So I'm taking all the credit. But they win.
No one's going to your Instagram, I don't think.
No one's going to check it out. But
No one's,
beating Seattle, regardless who they put out at their place, is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
It's a tough road trip. Getting the victory over New England, Leandro Campana, the young Ecuadorian player, getting a hat trick. These 2 wins, you've seen growth. And, we saw some comments there about Gonzalo Higuain no longer in there and announcing retirement, and now Inter Miami finding success. Maybe it isn't a coincidence, but I'm happy for Inter because a competitive team down there owned by David Beckham and that's got ambition is good for the league.
It's very good for the league, but it's just a shame where I just feel like you keep saying the same thing over
and over.
again
Yes,
for
I
Miami.
agree. I agree.
You think they're going to drop again here? Probably will.
But
I forget who said it. Steve Cherundolo on last weekend's edition of In Touch with Steve Cherundolo, hosted by Vince LaRosa, that you can watch on LAFC's YouTube channel. He said one of his biggest pet peeves is making the same mistake twice. Miami screams making the same mistake twice, and I don't know. Will they learn? I hope so.
Insanity, that mistake.
No, but I agree with you because we're like, oh, it's Miami. They're having complications with the stadium, the coach, this, that, and I don't know if we're, too nice with Miami. I mean, yeah, Higuain didn't play. Campana is doing great. They play against a Seattle team that it's a B team because they're focused in the CCL. That doesn't rest any credit to them, But I think we have to demand more from a team that created so many expectations coming into the league, and they haven't delivered. So good for them that they won the second. Winning builds confidence, and they show a different vibe against Seattle, but they have to continue with this, especially at home.
Who do you think's a better model, David Beckham or Max Bretos?
Oh, no, Max, without a doubt.
With clothes on, in underwear and swimsuits, it's probably Beckham.
All right, guys. I'm just going to leave it there.
Swimsuit modeling, Beckham all day.
I think I just threw up in my mouth a little
Maybe
bit.
Sir Alex did give a team speech. Maybe he did.
Maybe. All right, guys. Leagues Cup, ladies and gentlemen, is coming here to Los Angeles. Chivas Guadalajara, Club America, LAFC, and LA Galaxy. What do you guys think about this? I think this is the last year they're going to play this way. Next year is going to be a different format. What do you guys think about this one?
This could not be better for soccer in Los Angeles, for soccer in California, for soccer in the U.S. I don't care what anyone says. This, although it's a showcase, Leagues Cup,
And it's not about these four teams.
is it not?
It's not. It's about the venue.
It is about the venue.
Everyone wants to go to SoFi Stadium. And there's NFL, the Super Bowl was there. Everyone saw the Super Bowl. I'm not diminishing these four teams. These are obviously the two LA clubs, and America and Chivas.
It's going to be a jam-packed.
But everyone wants to go see a game there, and everyone wants to go see the first soccer game, this will be that. This is where BTS played. This is where the Rolling Stones played.
Yeah.
This is a place that we would love.
Wait, you lead with BTS and not Rolling Stones?
BTS
Who are you?
sold
What are you,
out that
Gen
place.
Z?
Dude, if you heard about the BTS show at SoFi Stadium, you were blown away. Apparently, there was a line for shirts that lasted 6 hours.
I went 2 nights to the BTS concert.
And what did you think?
Yeah.
It was insanity.
So why are you giving me grief? You should have brought that up.
Because
you
you're
went
like,
to it
you're like,
twice.
how old are you?
How old are you?
I'm just trying to keep on tap of what's happening because if I lose
You know
the
what?
kids,
And
I'm done.
You're
and I
current.
respect it. I respect it. You're keeping tabs on the new wave.
That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
That place gets full. What, 80,000 fans?
For soccer?
America, Chivas, the LA Galaxy, LAFC. It's going to be bananas, and it's important because we know that could be a venue. We hope if they get the parameters set
Should be.
for the World Cup final.
And look,
in 2026.
Hey, I'm speaking to you, America.
Okay.
That's right, Max
There's
Garcia.
absolutely no reason that the World Cup final should not be at SoFi Stadium.
I
Best
agree.
stadium
else?
in
I
the
agree.
entire world.
The best.
If FIFA and the group organizing the FIFA World Cup in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico is unable to see that is the most viable option for.
You walk in
What is the
there.
capacity of the stadium?
80, right?
like 80.
90.
But
I think they can get higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes up.
But it's not about that. It's not about just solely capacity. It's the most beautiful stadium on planet Earth.
The NFL games, when you go, I get bored because the TV timeouts. You forget about the timeouts when you're there because you're just soaking in all the visual stimulation. The giant board. The boards up there, when there's timeouts, they have movie previews and concerts.
Yeah, I'm a big BTS guy.
I try to stay young, and I get killed for it. The Marco Antonio Solis concert. So,
But regardless, these 4 teams, the fan base they have in Southern California, it can only be good. It's going to be a great, little bit hostile atmosphere, and I'm just excited.
Well, I think
I'm
it's going to
excited.
be a great
August 3rd, right?
August 3rd, yes, that is correct. I think it's going to be a great showcase. I think American Chivas, they're desperate to have some good results, even if it's a friendly game or whatever. because they're not doing pretty well in Liga MX. And I think it's a great opportunity again for Galaxy and LAFC to make a statement of we're at your level. We can compete against you and we can beat you guys. So
And really quickly,
that will matter. It's a matter for MLS clubs.
It's interesting because a lot of the times, a lot of MLS fans, especially LA soccer fans, will also have a Liga MX team.
Oh, yes.
So whenever they play, hopefully we can see a trend of people maybe caring more about their local counterpart than their Liga MX team. I don't know.
I would love to see that.
It's a friendly. If both the Galaxy beats Chivas and LAFC beats America, it's big news in Mexico. If one of them beat that opponent, it's big news in Mexico. So this is big because they kick back the Leagues Cup to 2023. So this is what we get.
So we move from the storylines from the weekend of play to the internet making fun of them. This is our favorite segment. This is our meme of the week. We have a couple this week.
The meme of the week.
It's the meme of the week. All right, first meme up. Austin FC. It was a little weird. I don't know if you guys
This is
can
my
see
favorite.
that.
I like this one.
Yeah, they went from Bruce Banner to the Hulk.
To the
when they were
Hulk.
Down to.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's the inspiration.
yeah.
It's all about the entertainment. We just want a good story.
Don't get Austin angry.
exactly. They're just starting.
They
I
just
like
wanted
that one.
us to talk about them in this week.
But that's good. right?
Heavy Austin
if they
FC
keep putting those
presence.
performances, we will be talking about them here.
Another good meme. We talked a little bit about it in the cold open. A lot of 0-0 draws this weekend.
Zero.
0-0.
We needed. What did we need? 2 more draws so we could get a dozen. Because they always get you a better deal when you get a dozen donuts at like Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts.
Is that
if you
like
get
your
8 donuts,
go-to?
you're getting ripped off. So you need to get a dozen. 8 donuts cost the same as 12.
You know your donuts.
I know.
Why,
Because I-
Yeah.
why do you know that? Why do you know that,
Krispy
Mac?
Kreme right here, and every time I go there, I go, "Can I get 6?" They go, "Well, for $1 more, you get a dozen." I'm like, "All right,
All right.
not gonna eat that extra 6 because I only wanted 6."
Good games though. Houston
they
Portland was
were.
a great game with a lot of Dallas games was good as well. So I'm okay with those type of games even if they don't score. Obviously,
Atlanta, Cincinnati was.
That was a good game as well. Yeah, that's correct.
Chicago, Galaxy, yeah.
Moreno missing a penalty.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Um,
Atlanta.
Our third and final meme. These have all been based off of topics that we talked about. San Jose, unable to win a game once again. Adam Driver, you know him? Let's
Yeah.
check out the meme. There we go.
Was he in one of the Star Wars movies?
Yeah, right?
Was
I don't
he?
know.
Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren.
The new
Yeah.
Darth Vader. I don't know.
I can't read that far.
Yeah, that's.
Every day I Every time I wake up hoping to. I try to win a game. Every day I wake
That's
up
another meme, Max.
Do you have
hoping
a
to win a
stroke?
game.
110 stroke.
I could not read it. Sorry.
What one was your favorite?
Donuts.
Donuts?
It was clever.
Donuts.
Hulk.
Because donuts, you call it a donut when you don't score in
Yeah.
a game. More Americanized. I don't think they do that in Great
Well,
Britain.
it's an LAFC thing
Yeah.
originally, like an OG LAFC. Yeah, you get donuts. If
Vince LaRosa, when LAFC gets a clean sheet, takes Steve Schroeder to load donuts. Fact.
So we'll see what happens next.
As much as I love Adam Driver,
Right into camera. Nice.
a fine actor, I think we need to move on to the stars of the weekend. That means it's time to make our picks for our MLS Player of the Week. Connor, you are up first.
There is only one right answer, and if you two have any different answers, you are wrong. So, Tati Castellanos,
We were
4
told
goals.
not to repeat things.
Yeah.
Say what you want. 4 goals. 2 of them are penalties. 1 was off a goalkeeper. Like, look, he scored 4 goals. We give the player of the week if he scores a hat trick. He scored a ham bone. Thanks, Rob Stone. And yeah, there's not much more to say. He has probably more goals than most players in the league in one game.
He might have more goals than San Jose. Oh, I'm just kidding. San Jose's goal scoring is
But more than Chicago.
More than
He has-
Chicago.
he has-
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of easy. I agree. I mean, Castellanos had an amazing performance, but I'm going to go with Georgi Mihailovic. Every weekend, he does something different. The first goal was amazing. The assist was second to none. To be able to imagine that assist before it happens, being in that position, imagine that and execute in that small amount of time, it's impressive. It's a player that he's growing every weekend. He can create, he can score, and he is willing to sacrifice offensively. So this is a well-rounded player that definitely should be considered. I won't say in the starting 11, but we were talking about this, about him being in the starting 11 with the U.S. national team. And he's he's doing pretty well, to earn a spot with the national team. So that's why he's my player of the week, because he's delivering.
He's been awesome.
4 goals, 2 assists this season for Mihalovic.
I wonder if he didn't play for Montreal, if he would have been fast-tracked a bit, because I know Greg Berhalter looks at everything, but there's no way you can't bring him to a national team camp the way he's playing and the type of player he is.
Exactly.
If I'm Chicago, I'm missing him a lot right now. And on top of that, who was the player to score the first goal under Greg Berhalter in the U.S. men's national team?
First, so Mihalovic? He's a beautiful player. I really enjoy watching him. That would have been my pick, but I don't want to repeat it.
Okay.
That's better than Valentin Castellanos.
We think alike.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I'm going to stick with New York City FC.
Okay.
Can you imagine a guy who scored less goals than Valentin Castellanos would be the player of the season? But I'm going to preface it with this. Thiago Andrade is part of a really effective recruiting, scouting scouting direction that New York City FC are involved in. And they're going to South America, and they're getting Brazilians, and they're getting Argentines, and Castellanos are getting Uruguayans, and Santi Rodriguez as well. But Thiago Andrade is a guy they're investing in. Thales Magno came from Vasco da Gama. Thiago came from Gabriel Pereira, who came from Corinthians. These are some players that clearly the scouting for the City Group, which is involved with New York City FC, are doing a fantastic job. But Thiago Andrade, every time I watch the games for New York City FC, he does a stand-up job, doesn't get the credit of other guys. So I'm going to give him the credit here this week. And I look at New York City FC. They played well against Seattle, and they get to the comments. They played well.
Soccer
They played well against Seattle in the second leg, and they played well here. They're going to have a good they're going to have a good run up to the season coming up here.
I just want to make
They're fun
sure
to watch.
you guys know what player of the week means,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
if
of
a player
course.
scores 4 goals.
There's a couple penalties.
But
I'm just saying.
Come on.
no.
I'm not saying penalties are easy, but Thiago Andrade, when I was watching the game, stood out.
I like your Portuguese. Thiago Andrade.
Thiago Andrade.
Thiago Andrade.
I like your shout, though, of Mihalovic to the men's national team.
Yeah, of course.
A lot
He
of-
has to be there. He's growing constantly.
He should be in there.
Do we want to take a look at the full MLS team of the
Of
week?
course.
Let's take a look right now. Boom. Look at that. Ivasic in goal, still impressing me. I think, what is this, his second team of the week so far? After what I said in the pre-show of the season, that, I thought Portland's goalkeeping problem was going to be a problem. He hadn't played too many minutes ever, and he's been slotted into the starting spot.
In a weekend where there's 4 scoreless games,
Yes.
that's very competitive for goalkeeper to make
It
team
is.
of the week.
That's true.
So, hats off. That was a good group.
Yeah, it is. I really like it.
JK, love you, Mariano. Good. I like it. Good dude. He's a good dude.
After you took a shot him with Mariano and George,
Well, that's what we really want, guys. We want to hear from you. So send us your questions in the chat. We want to read it. We want to interact with you guys. So Max Bretos, do you have anything there for us in the chat?
That's a question?
Yeah.
Look at cheap shot at Vince.
Well,
Vince, less pants, more hair. Whoa.
I know someone's going to ask about donuts, so I'm going to say I like the strawberry, the one I had at the opening show, strawberry
Do you have
icing.
a favorite donut?
Not really. I'm not a. If it's free, I'll eat it.
That's the answer. Free donuts.
Free donuts.
Where does Almeyda go? It sounds like he wants to go to Chivas, but I don't think it's a slam dunk because this wasn't a great 3.5 years.
Does Chivas want him?
Well,
That's a good question.
they're actually playing okay now. I mean, they're 11th. They had a couple good results, but they're in trouble, and they've been going through a lot of coaches. They've gone through a ton of coaches since Matías Almeyda's been last there. Maybe he's comfortable there. They love him there, correct?
They do.
Because you win a title.
The fans, yes, of course.
That's going to make a big difference. So it makes sense, but the obvious one isn't always the best option. So
What I heard is that he's going to a national team in South America. So not Chivas.
a national
A
team.
national team in South
So
America.
it's not going to be one that's qualified for the World
Colombia.
Cup. Can't be Colombia.
Maybe. We'll see.
Paraguay.
Yeah, no, it's.
Who isn't Chileto in
It's
Paraguay?
Chile. It's Chile.
Chile.
That's what I heard. Chile, it's looking for Matías Almeyda. That's another possibility. Chivas is not. They haven't had any contact with Matías Almeyda. That's what I heard. Even though the fans are crazy about Matías Almeyda in Mexico, there's no contact. So I don't think it would be a good idea either for Chivas or Matías to be together again. So
Who replaces Almeyda? Who comes in? We talked about it a little
We were
bit.
joking around, but I said Dominic Kinnear. I don't know if Kinnear has a history there. He is San Jose through and through. He's won trophies at that club. Maybe
Bring Mike Pecky.
Mike Pecky's been he got in a little hot water. So I don't know if that's gonna be do it, but enough time. You'd hate for someone to pay a heavy price for a mistake he made with coaching. So maybe not Mike. Maybe Mike Petke is not a terrible option. I got to look at some of the assistants that are out
Dominic Kinnear it's a great option. He has experience. He knows how to play in this situation.
there. Ante Razov.
Yeah, Ante.
No. Leave him over there with LAFC. He's
Yeah,
great.
I don't want him to go, but I'm just saying he's going to
no.
be a candidate because he's been a candidate.
And then we
before.
talked about Chris Armas.
Chris Armas. It's a little tongue-in-cheek, but he's at Manchester United. That's going to end for him. He has MLS
It is gonna
experience.
end for
It's
him.
going to end for him because they're going to have a new coach that's already been announced.
And I was going to be walking, guys, I've coached Paul Pogba. I know what
Chris
I'm talking
Armas, by the way, is the true gentleman of Major League Soccer, the nicest man you'll ever meet. Wonderful. Predictions for game on Wednesday. Probably U.S. Open Cup. Galaxy's playing San Diego Loyal. Those should get by, and LAFC will get by Orange County by a couple goals each.
I'm
agree.
really happy that the U.S. Open Cup is back. But before the show started, we won't get into it now, but we had this big discussion of, would promotion relegation be good for soccer in the U.S.? Regardless of your opinion and stance on that, the Open Cup gives an opportunity for MLS teams to play other U.S. teams, and those other U.S. teams, whether it's the USL, the NASL, or any team, NISA, it's really fun. I like playing the Orange Counties and so on and so forth.
I agree. I agree with you. I think it's a good experience for other clubs that don't have the chance or opportunity to play or showcase against MLS teams to play the Open Cup. I had a privilege to play the Open Cup, and it was great. It was an amazing tournament.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it's back, and hopefully they can make some changes to it to maybe make it a little bit more competitive. We'll see.
Max Garcia, great name. MLS finally winning the CCL thing. I said a few weeks ago that was going to happen. I'm confident that this is the year. Seattle, it's a good matchup for Seattle.
Why?
Pumas. Oh, that's your former team. That's right.
No, that's why.
I just think they've squirted by a couple where Seattle's been pretty comfortable.
It's going to be a fun matchup. I don't know if
Great.
it's
MLS versus League MX in the final is when it's at its best. That's when, because you have everyone
I
involved.
can't help but feel that there's been one too many times that this has always been the case, and we feel confident. LAFC
I've
versus
never felt this confident because I think this is a very, very good, strong Seattle team.
I felt confident in both LAFC Tigres, Toronto Chivas.
But LAFC had to get by America and Cruz Azul and Tigres. That was a hard run.
So is it a good Seattle team, but is it an old Seattle team?
It's a deep one.
We will find out.
It's a little bit long in the tooth. Hey, thanks everyone. We appreciate that to answer the questions. It's time now for our version of Old Man Yells at Cloud. With this week's
Is that you?
Hey! All this rain come from. With this week's stoppage time. Mariano, you shall go first.
All right. I want you guys to subscribe, please.
Is that your stoppage time?
Company man right
okay.
there.
It's just, I was thinking about Tati Castellanos. Yes, of course, he scored 4 goals, but I don't think I think that's a consequence of what's happening with the team. And it's kind of funny, but sometimes one of your saddest moments, either on the field or in life, can bring something amazing to it. And I think that's what happened with New York City FC being out of the CONCACAF Champions League. Even though they didn't get the result, they had a good performance. And the result was 1-1, but I saw that commitment and that desire of there's a mosquito around here, Max. Come on. A desire.
What are you talking about? There's nothing there. You just threw it there.
A desire,
Are you okay? Do you need a
desire to get the result, and sadly they didn't. But that performance changed the mentality of this team. And you mentioned the names Andrade, Magno, Maxi De Frasquito, Rodriguez, and Tati Castellanos. And with the performance that we saw last week, it's a great and short and solid proof that they're back. Not only Tati Castellanos, but the current MLS champions are back. Just keep an eye on New York City FC because the Citizens are back. Remember this.
I agree with you. That's going to be a dangerous team moving forward. We need dangerous teams in this league. I want to talk about Atlanta. Some news earlier today. Brad Guzan is ruptured Achilles tendon. He's 37. We don't know what that means for him, but it's a huge drop back for Atlanta United, who are laboring a bit with finding everyone to fit their vision. And you look at what they've done with DPs. Ezequiel Barco is now gone. I like Thiago Almeyda. He's coming along. He's a very young player in his first time away from home, where he came from Vélez Sarsfield. I think he's on a good trajectory. But Marcelo Moreno, who was a DP, was brought down with some TAM, I would imagine.
Tam Gam.
Hasn't really delivered. Joseph, since he became a full DP, has been injured Joseph Martinez has been injured most of the time. Luis Araujo has also been a guy that just hasn't hit his spots, come close to it since coming over for Lille. Atlanta United's going to be really busy in the summer again, but they've got to really hit a home run. They've hit a single here and there. They've struck out a couple times, to use a baseball analogy, but this is getting really important. And now they may have to look at a goalkeeper. There were some reports about Ethan Horvath coming over from Nottingham Forest. I don't know if those are legit or not, but they're going to need a goalkeeper. They're going to need a lot of help as well, and they're going to need some of these guys to take a big step up because they put their neck out for them, and their scouting department has to find that they're getting the right guys. I mean, the transfer fee for Thiago Almeyda was, record-breaking. You need some of these guys, even though they're young, to start delivering because they've developed some good young players through their academy. So if it all comes together, Atlanta United will be an elite club, which they're supposed to be.
Like it.
My stoppage time is this is the beauty of a balanced league. I believe that MLS is one of the hardest leagues to predict how things will unfold come the end of the season. That's just whether it's the salary cap, the competitive level of the teams. Look, this is a league in which each team on their day competes to the highest level. And on top of that, I just want to say, top 5 teams in the West right now, 7 games in, all missed the playoffs last season.
Yep.
That's mind-blowing.
Great stat.
That can happen in this league. And look, sometimes my favorite team, your favorite team, will be on the receiving end and maybe be below the playoff line. But at least each year it's entertaining, it's new, it's fun, and I like entertaining. So
We need some powerhouse teams too, though.
I agree.
Bully some people around.
But there's always powerhouse teams. But all I'm saying
But not the
is
same.
each year it's just a little bit different. Last year it was New England just crushing everyone. And it's different each year. I don't know.
Different.
You know what?
Oh, I'm
What I
different.
really like is your stoppage time.
Atlanta United?
Demanding young players to deliver. A couple of years ago we didn't see that in MLS. It was more like, well,
You've got to.
well, yeah, exactly, and I really like that. Bring the point, Connor's point is that this is entertaining, but at the same time we want quality, and now the fans are demanding quality. They know how much money they're paying for these transfers and these quality players. Well, they have to deliver, and I love it. I really like that.
Because there are some teenage players that are delivering, and I'm not saying all of them are, and it's going to fall, but you've got to show growth.
I really hope that Soccer USA's question is a joke. Could LAFC actually trade Vela?
That
Could
is
there
a
be
joke.
an option? If so, who could it be? Higuain? Breck Shea?
Maybe a combo package.
Maybe a combo package for the two. Is that Eli Lesser?
That Eli. Breck
anyway,
Shea fascination.
we have a very big week here at 110 Football. Wednesday night, we will be chatting with LAFC fans after their US Open Cup third-round match against Orange County SC. Wow. Live across our social channels. Thursday is another episode of Football Without Borders on 110 Football's YouTube channel at 4 p.m. Pacific. Vince will be back with Max and Jessica Black to talk about what's happening around the globe.
Maybe some big Erling Haaland news.
Big. Ooh. Are you saying you know something we don't?
Yeah. Well,
Maybe.
And
When I
Sunday,
Twitter purge.
Vince and I will be with you for another 110 Football watch party as LAFC travels to Cincinnati. We'll be live at 2:20 p.m. across our social channels. It's going to be a very fun week. I am so happy to be back. And every 110 Football show is available in an audio-only format for all you podcast lovers. Just search 110 Football on your platform of choice.
There you go.
podcast
is
lovers.
Podcast. I am.
I love to talk. I hope you guys like my voice because that was pretty wordy.
Yeah. I like your fashion. I like your hair. I like your voice.
I like you too. I like your hand. I like your should we just
My hands.
All right.
Thank you guys so
All right,
much for
guys.
watching. Great to be
Get rid
back.
of this
And
mosquito
bug.
here. What's going on, man? Come on.
Don't get the spray.
bye. Congratulations, Isaiah, on the hat.